Hello everyone. We'll be waiting for 5 more minutes. For everyone to join. Hello everyone, I am Vanshikha. I will be doing your, I'll be taking your Excel classes, and today is my second demo. In case you haven't attended my last demo, we can definitely share a video, otherwise this will also be enough. Today we'll be discussing a different chapter altogether, so it won't be an issue if you've already attended the demo. Can you all see my screen? Okay, great. Today, so we are starting with our Excel demo. So let me admit 2-3 more people that have just joined in. Okay, now. So today is Excel demo, and I am Vanshikha. More people coming in. We'll wait for a couple more minutes and see that, otherwise there's a small disturbance that is caused. Let's wait if more people are coming in. Okay. So today's agenda, let's discuss first is I'm going to give you a brief introduction of about me. Then we're going to discuss the syllabus. I think the syllabus PDFs must already be with you people. If they're not there, it's not nothing to worry. I'm going to you can send in your we have your email IDs. We'll be sharing across all the syllabuses and this thing. Then we're going to discuss why you should be taking these classes and what my main agenda behind these classes are, how it's better Then other classes you'll probably just learning off the internet or just online classes, other online classes. And then today we are going to do little charts and how you should use charts, how you format the charts. There are a lot of things, so charts are very important. And then I'll take in any questions if you have. That won't be an issue. Okay. So sorry, this is this one. So first of all, I studied here from St. Xavier's College. I did my BBA. Along with that, I started my actuarial career from then itself. So about second year, I started my papers, and over time, then I went on to do my MSc in actuarial management from Hertford University in UK. That is in Edinburgh. So that is for the higher papers. And then for a brief period of time, I worked at ENY in Bangalore, and I've been teaching. So now I am more driven towards teaching, and I'm teaching with Bhumi as a volunteer, which is an NGO. And apart from that, over this course of 5, 6, 7 years, I've cleared all my core principles, core practices, special principles papers. And I'm just awaiting the result of my SA7, that is specialist application paper as well. So hopefully I get through this time. Anyway, next we're going to do the syllabus. So here if you see, so this is the PDF that you will be getting. In case we'll be mailing it to you, so that won't be an issue. So here first is basic Excel. So there are 3 courses that we are offering: basic Excel, advanced Excel and R. R is basic R basically, so that you have basic grasps on how to go about R before you do it in your papers. So understanding spreadsheets, entering. So this is from the very preliminary Excel. So even if you don't know anything, then you can definitely go for this course. And if you're doubtful if you should go for this or advanced Excel, we also have a test for you. You can always ask us for the test, and you can test, and then we will evaluate whether you should go into basic Excel or you can straight away move on to advanced Excel in case you are confused, right? So then we have entering data, we have autofill and data validation. So here I'm also going to teach a lot of shortcuts and how to use to basically use Excel most efficiently. So the best way to use Excel is to know all your shortcuts. The lesser amount of mouse that you use is the better way and most efficient way if you say, to use Excel, and it's faster, because once you go for your jobs and you start having large amounts of data, then it becomes very difficult to maintain an efficiency and use the time appropriately. It will take you hours and hours just to use the mouse, move from here to there. So once you figure out the shortcuts, it will be very easy. So in this, both the advanced Excel as well as the basic Excel, we do a basically a shortcut class. You'll see as we move forward. So this is autofill and data validation, after which we have tables. Sorry, the heading is missing. Conditional formatting, which is also very important, and basic formula. I'll tell you how to use these formulas, and cleaning data. So cleaning data, over time you'll realize it is one of the most important things to do. Then we have basic charting. So this is what we are going to be discussing today. How to use histogram, line charts, bar graphs, pie charts, scatter plots, and what are the uses, like how do you determine which particular chart should you use and when, and a little bit of chart formatting. You'll always see, you can change the colors, you can change the format, the writing, text, a lot of things can be changed. So a few of them will be discussed today. And then see, so this if you can see, it's the bonus class, that is keyboard shortcuts to easier, efficient and effective data management. This will be a very interesting class. I also have a PDF ready, so you don't worry that if you forget this once I teach you, so that will be fine. And we have a final case study. Then we move on to advanced Excel. The syllabus is advanced formulae starting. So these are not the formulas that we are discussing in basic Excel, but the advanced ones. Then we have cleaning of the data, cleaning data is something you should swear by. Like I cannot emphasize enough, wildcard characters and everything is very important. Then you have data validation, pivot tables. Pivot tables in everyday life also, I have used pivot tables for my own work also, just not jobs. So it's very important, and this advanced charting is how to use dynamic filters, how to use grid lines, a lot of things. Trend lines, regression equations, a lot of things are there. Then analyzing data, what if analysis, goal seek, and how to import data from other formats, as well as how to export. We'll be doing both, and then we'll be do dashboard creation. So this dashboard creation is one of the best classes that you will attend, and that is because if you see the class, so if you see a final form of a dashboard, so not only in Excel, once you learn how to make dashboards, you will know how to compile data properly, and it will all be automatic. You'll have filters within one particular page, and it will filter out data, it will change your graphs. There are a lot of things that can go on, and it is not only useful in Excel. Once you get the hang of it, you can actually create dashboards in R, you can use it in so many Pythons. So Python dashboards are the most useful ones, but this is also very useful for now. And after that, we'll be doing a bonus class, that is the same class that we'll have for keyboard shortcuts. Then for R programming is basic R programming. So what is R? How do you write a syntax? What are the different parts of R called? Everything like that. How to install R? We're going to teach you everything. So that won't be an issue for you, like if you are completely basic for that. Importing, how do you import data? How do you manipulate data? Visualize, how to form graphs in data in R. So ggplot and all this is very, very useful. Then we have models, algorithms, explanatory data, descriptive statistics, that is mean, median, mode, which is very easy. It is all by just click, like a very, very, very small codes you write, not even codes, I won't call it codes, to be very honest. Very easy, and it'll be very interesting. So now let's move on to the assessment system. So what if you must be seeing in this thing, in my syllabus, you must be seeing that after every 2 or 3, see understanding spreadsheets, entering data, autofill, we have an assessment 1 here. So what I am doing with these classes is that you're just not learning. It's not a system where you just come in and you learn, and you listen to me, and then you go back and you don't practice. That is not how Excel, Advanced Excel, or anything works. You have to practice. So for practicing, what we are doing is once we finish, so whichever classes we have, I am going to be sharing for all our classes. I'm going to share a data template from in the beginning with all of you of that particular class. Supposing today we have a class, I'll be sharing with you the data. So now once I share with you the data, once the class starts, all of you have your Excel sheets open where the data has been there. So you can actually work along with me. Simultaneously you can work. So it will be a very good practice for you, and we'll have a discussion session, everything will be there. And apart from that, every 2-3 chapters or 4 chapters, depending on the content we've covered, I have assessments set for you. So these are proper 25-30 mark assessments that you have, and a time limit is there. Once you finish your assessment, you submit it back to us. And that's how, see, this is an assessment 1, then we have assessment 2, then we have assessment 3, and then we have a final assessment case study. So this is how we are going to work through all of them. Even for Advanced Excel, if you see there's assessment 1, then there's assessment 2, and then final case study. So it depends on, it will be there for R also. Here, see, this is an assessment 1, assessment 2 is after these, and then a final case study. So you learn as you learn, you practice together. Apart from that, regular assessments and one final case study, what we are doing here is that the top, so we are scoring you all, right? So whoever is giving the assessments are being scored, and we are keeping a tab of all the assessments marked, and at the end of it, the top 2 scorers for each course, so basic Excel and advanced, so basic Excel separately, advanced Excel separately, and R separately, we are going to give you a certificate from SCUBE, which says, basically a certificate saying that you were among the top 2 scorers in class. So, it will be from SCUBE. This is our main selling point, so you should definitely come for the classes. Next, let's do an example. If you have any other questions, you can just message me before we move on to the example. If anyone has any questions, you can message. No one has any questions for now? I'll give you a couple more minutes. I'll unmute anyone if you have any questions. Rohan, this certificate is from SCUBE for the top scorers. We are not giving a certificate for completion of the course because we are not affiliated with any such institute yet. But we are in the process. Let's see if we can get something. But right now, no, it's not possible. Only the top 2 just get a certificate that you are a top scorer for the Excel class, yeah. Okay, then let's move on to our example here. So, this is our question. So, this is different types of data that we are going through. So, what are the different charts that we are going to discuss today? One is going to be a bar chart, then we are going to discuss a line chart, then scatter plots, histogram, pie chart, and a stacked line chart. Okay. So, let's start. So, this is my basic data. So, this is just a random collection of data, and I'll show you how you form a chart from that. First is, so these are the questions that I've written in red in the yellow boxes. First of all, let's form a bar chart for fatal, injured and uninjured. So, these are the shark attacks in Australia in the last 100 years. Okay. So, these are the name of the regions, that is the states. These are total number of cases. This is the fatal, injured and the uninjured cases. So, now how do we start the bar chart? So, there are two ways. First of all, what we can do is select the entire data from here and then do an insert. After insert, if you see here, I have recommended charts, maybe all of you do not have it. Also, if you are using Windows, don't be worried at all. Most 90% of what I am doing here is going to be completely the same. So, you do not have to worry at all, it's going to be exactly the same. In case you have any questions here and there, once you practice, you can always shoot me. Like you can always, you can always send me a text and I'll help you out through it. So, that's not an issue at all. Here we select the entire thing and see these are the different charts that are available. So, this is a bar chart and I select the first one, right. Now, if you see, it has automatically taken the states here on this axis, on the x axis, and y is a values. Now if you also see that here we only wanted a chart for fatal, injured and uninjured species. So this that is the total number of cases also appearing, which is not giving us an appropriate explanation of what we want it to be. So there are two ways, like I said. First, what we can do is we can select this. If you select this, you see all the blue ones are being highlighted here. So what you do, you just select this and you delete it. Just the data, you select the data and you delete it and it goes. So now it's automatically changed its data to the states as well as fatal, injured, uninjured and this thing. So now you can see the colors are here and here a key exists for this one. See if it might not be clear. I hope it's clear now. Is that okay? And then what you can do is you can select the chart title here, you can double tap here and the chart title opens, and then you can write anything like a representation of shark attacks in Australia. Okay, and then I press here, this is done. So it shows this. Now you might be wondering, you know, this is the basic. I'll be teaching you how to format the charts later on. Now next, let's move on to the next chart. So it's very easy, you have to select and you should know which data to do. Now the next one we are doing is line chart for open and close. So we all know how a line chart looks, how a bar chart looks, but how do we know whether I should be using a line chart for this one or a bar chart for this one, which one? So when you have to distinguish between line charts and bar charts, so the easiest, the best way to do this is, see, for bar charts, it's very useful if against one particular dependent variable, if you see, one particular independent variable. So states are going to be this one only, but now with every state we have 3 data points. With every just a minute. Here if you see, every state has 3 data points. So now if you start doing a line format, it's going to be a little difficult for them to follow on. So in that case, bar charts are representative because it's showing all the 3 data points for each of the different states. Now the same thing could have been done with the other format. That is, first I selected this state, then I pressed the control option, the control on my keyboard, and then I selected the rest of these. Now straight away I do not have to delete anything, it's an easier way to do it. Once I have selected, then I do go to insert, again I open the bar chart and then I do a vertical bar. Either or, it's the same thing, it depends on how you want to represent the data. See, it shows, so it has arranged the data, like if you see my data was already arranged, it generally does not arrange the data. If you have to arrange the data, there is something else, I will be teaching you that later. Okay. Now for this thing we are using the line chart for open and close. So same thing we are going to do is we are going to select this first, then we are going to press a control and press open, open, close, like this. Insert a line chart. So there are the different kinds of lines if you see here. So what happens here is that both of them start from 0, like both the plotting values start from 0. For here, what happens is, supposing if the first line of values is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, so and the second one is also 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, so the bottom line will be the bottom line. Here this line is going to show 2, 4, 6, 8 and this is going to do 2 plus 2, 4. So every point is going to be added and shown here, that's tagged. And here in this one, 100% stack line says that the first one is taken as a base and the second one is plotted according to that. Here if you see, it's the same as the first one, but only the data points will be marked with circles so that it's easier to read. Similarly with this one, it's the same as the second one, will be marked. So if we select the first one, now what do you see? This is not representative. If you see, this is not a very clear representation of my data. If you see this, yeah. See, this part of it, if you want to read the data points closely, this is not clear. So what we can do out here is we can change this axis. You know the king that we put at the bottom even when we are drawing graphs that we used to do in school. So here also we can do the same thing, but instead of putting a king, we can actually start it from the value that we want to start at. So what we are going to do in this is we are going to select this box. We are going to right click and see format axis. It's the same for Word also. You will again find a format axis. Here if you see the bounds, the minimum and the maximum, the minimum is 0 and the maximum is 1600, but we don't want it to be 0. We can start it from, supposing let's try 800 first, right? It has moved down. So see, it's more spread out and it's more representative, but still it's not up to the mark. So we can again change the minimum to supposing 1000. Since we can see here in the values, everything starts from practically nothing before 1100. Again, we have this bounds as 50. See if you can see 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. We can change that also if you want to make it more representative. Supposing I want to make it 30. So the difference, it depends on what are the basic grids that you want from one to the second one. Okay, but let's keep it 50 only. And this 1000 we can always change it to supposing 1100. See, it shows a much clearer representation of what is happening on where there are dips, where they are where the market has moved up. So this is right, and we can change the name of the chart in the same way. Open and close for Reliance Industries. Okay, but so once you see my format chart title option opens, because this format pane was already open. Here we can do a couple of things. See, vertical alignment is middle. I can always change this vertical alignment. Supposing I want to move it. Text direction can be changed. It depends on the graph. Like if you want something on the sides, that can also be done. Okay. Now what you see is that here I want to put some value. Like if you see here, open and close is written. These are dates, and these are the values of the stock market of the particular share, open and high and fade. So what if I want to put in write down what this means? So what I do is I select this chart. I go on to my chart design, and there's an add chart element. Right here, there are a lot of options what you have to do. In case of a Windows desktop, you have a plus sign here. You will see a plus sign right here, and that shows exactly the same options as this is showing right now. You can do any of this from your Windows workbook also. So what are we going to do? Axis titles. The axis, if I want a primary vertical axis, I want an explanation. I just select this and I write market open close. That will be fine. So that's how you do this chart. This is a line chart. I'll just move it to small. Next. So according to you all, so now what is the appropriate chart for number of trades? I'm going to select this and I'm going to select this. What do you all think that we should do? Which chart should we go on for number of trades? Does anyone know? Okay, he's saying bar chart. Okay, couple of you are saying bar chart. Let's try the bar chart. Insert bar chart. See, you find some issue here? what the bar chart is doing. Scatter plot, histogram. Sorry, I had some issue, I'm sorry. Yeah, what are you all saying? Sony says histogram, Mayank says scatter plot. We've tried the bar, let's try the scatter plot and the histogram. Let's compare, insert a scatter plot from here, scatter, let's do a scatter plot. Let's select this again, number of trades, insert a scatter plot. Okay. Next is to insert a histogram, right? Let me insert a histogram as well. The histogram. Just look at these three. Which one do you think is actually giving you an appropriate representation of what you want to know or what you want to understand? Which one do you all think is actually giving you a better representation? The bar chart, that is this, the scatter plot, or the histogram? Okay, Vanshikha says bar chart, Sony says scatter plot. Now let me also do a chart that I think should be right, and according to me, let's do another one. Sorry. Yes. Okay, now these are the 4 charts to you. Now you tell me which one gives you a better representation of what you are doing. Is it the bar, the scatter plot, the histogram, the number of trades? Sony says it might be possible that we may get big gaps, so at the bar, at the point bar is not a good representation than the scatter plot. Yes. Okay, anyone else? Vanshikha says line chart. I need an explanation. Why do you think just because I have selected the line chart does not mean that it has to be the correct one? I want you to give an explanation as to why you think that that is a better representation than anything else. If anyone wants to talk about it, then let me know, I can unmute you and you can tell me what you want, what you think. Okay. So Ami says that bar chart because it shows that there were no trades on the days, it doesn't depict the bar. Okay. Sony says line chart could be better. Asad says line chart is more feasible and easy to understand. And Rohan is then someone says that because the data are used for continuous data, also there's way small but not every time, so line is better. Okay, line chart will be better one than all other charts, shows clear understanding about marketing and trade. Okay, now see, I cannot, so there's no clear, just a second, someone is still joining. There's no clear representation of just one being appropriate. So if you see in one way or the other, all the 4 charts are appropriate, but we have to see our purpose. So what the difference between the charts is, you have to know what a histogram does, what a line chart does, what a scatter plot does, what a bar graph does, to know that in the situation which of these will be appropriate. All of them are a good representation, but which one should actually be chosen. So let's start with histogram. So what does a histogram actually do? It demonstrates a frequency distribution, right? So it basically tells you, if you have, it tells you how many times a particular range of market trades has been reached. Like if you see here, so this part of it shows that how many times that the data has been between 3,22,000 trades versus to 7,02,000 trades. So it just gives you the number of trades. It does not tell you on which day which trade happened. So this, for our data right now, when we are dealing with date as well as number of trades, this is not a good representation for this one. However, if you wanted a plot, basically a chart which shows the on an average how many trades happen, what are the general number of trades that happen more often, and what are the number of trades that happen least often. So for that case, histogram will be suitable in that, but you cannot be using dates in that case. It's not going to show you anything about dates. Also, this histogram requires a little bit of work. If you see, these are very broad bars, like these are very big bars, just 3 categories that the histogram has naturally been divided into. Now if you want to move into smaller categories, you have to do the little editing on your own, and it's not going to represent that. So that is when histogram is useful, but not in our data since we are using dates. Okay, so I'm going to remove, so let this be anyway. Okay. Next, someone told me bar graph. So bar graph is generally very representative of trades or any other such data points that we are using. But here the problem that arises is that in this bar chart, you see 18th and 19th April or 25th and 26th April, these are all weekends. These are the days when there was no trade happening. But since the bar chart takes a continuous form of data, it is taking in those dates as well. So now if you present this to someone, they will be like, why do I need these unnecessary points of data? If you are not going to work through this data, we don't need this data, right? 18, 19, we don't need it because we know it was a weekend. This is just for when we are doing with trading, right? Because it's very important that weekends are not included. But generally, if this was any other data and a series of dates were given with number of trades, this would have been very representative. Is din pe, supposing if you are doing about sales, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday maximum sales happen, Thursday no one really buys, so there is 0 sales. So then we can detect a pattern that, you know, every Thursday probably there is no sale happening, something like that. But here when we are dealing with markets, this is not a good representation because we don't want. Otherwise, generally bar chart would have been the most appropriate kind of graph for this kind of data. Okay. Next, we move on to scatter plot that someone had suggested. So scatter plot, if you see, it is actually very good. It is not cluttering data. It is giving a good representation. Ki thik hai. 15th, 16th, 17th we had data, we had some trades and we had around this value, and then 18th we did not have a trade, we don't have any values, but it's not showing any data point or it's not obvious or out there, right? Instead straight away it has a data point at 20. So even when you're looking at it, it's not emphasizing so much on the empty data points, but it's showing you all the other important points. So now, so if there's more data, here we just have 15 data points. Supposing you are plotting this thing for a year, So here once you plot for the entire year, this is going to be so much better, because it's going to show you maximum trades happening around one time of the year, or the same time of the week. Maybe a lot of trades happen on Fridays, since Saturday, Sunday the markets are closed, or Mondays since it's opening, so there are more trades. So it will show you a pattern, and it is very easy to understand in that case. Okay. Here now with line chart. So generally for a large amount of data, even line chart for that matter is very useful, because it gives a clear representation and it's not crowded, and you can actually plot multiple datas very easily and in a very compact way in a line chart. Supposing if we had number of trades ke saath we had to plot couple more things, maybe the turnover also or anything else, or number of trades for company 1 and then for 5 other companies also for the same dates, we have to plot the number of dates. So in that case this would have been very useful, because it would have been a clearer representation. Here whereas with a scatter plot, what would have happened for multiple, supposing if you had multiple companies that we were dealing with, what would have happened that sometimes there will be overlapping values, and then you won't be able to understand whether it's for one of them, whether it's for both of them. So the color gets mixed, sometimes only the top one shows, the bottom one will not show. It will cause a little confusion and not a clear picture. Whereas for that case the line chart will be the best, because it will have a completely separate color and you can see how the trend moves, what the data point is. Similarly here for a bar chart it would have not been useful at all, because if you see for every data point, if you have 3 graphs, so how clumsy would this graph become? Like unless and until you have less data points, maybe see 10, maximum 10 I would say, it's just a rough estimate, it can be more obviously. If we had only 10 data points and about 3 different, so it will be 10 into 330, it would have still been better. But now if I am dealing with markets like I am telling you here, giving you this example, it would have been extremely difficult to read and understand a bar chart. In that case the line chart would have been best. But here it has one drawback, if you can see, like on the 18th of April, it has a data, here if you see, it shows a flat line here, even though we have no data points for 18th or 19th of April. It shows a flat line. So from 17th to 20th it's moving like this. But we would not know whether a trade was happening. We'll have to go back and check, like if I'm plotting for 1 year, I'll have to go back and check which were the dates. So this also becomes clumsy. So it depends on the type of data that you have. It should always be very representative and open. Okay. Now, so scatter plot, I'll tell you what is used the most, and then we'll move on with the next ones. So first of all, histograms are mostly used for frequency distributions, like I already told you. Apart from that, so when we are doing any of our papers, when we are studying, and when we have to understand whether we should do a histogram or not, it is the best used for plotting a normal distribution. It is best used for a normal distribution, and it will tell you whether it's a normal distribution. It will tell you if you had fat tails, whether there's skewness in the data, whether there are any outliers. So it is very representative because it's dealing with frequency, and that's what normal distribution deals with. If you see later for bigger data, if you have to find out if the data follows a normal distribution, you plot it in a histogram and it will be very representative of the graph. Now, when do we use a scatter plot? A scatter plot is mainly used to with paired numerical data, if you see. So paired numerical data, like I was telling you, for a particular set of dates, if I have a number of trades for multiple companies, so that is paired data. Or in situations like this, where one dependent one dependent variable has, so it won't be useful here. This should be the same, but for some other case, like we'll be doing further, is maybe one dependent variable has multiple many multiple values for each of my independent variable. Okay. And also when we are trying to determine whether two variables are related, when we have to check out whether it's dependent, where if number of trades in one company is versus the number of trades in another company, whether they are related, whether they follow the same market sentiment or something like that. So for comparison, basically it's very much used, scatter plot. And then I'll tell you about pie charts later. So here let's keep the scatter plot, let's keep the line chart here, and I'm going to remove the other charts. Okay. Now let's do a scatter plot of the high and low data, and I'll show you how scatter plots are done for multiple values here. Right. I'm going to select the date here, then I'm going to select command and high and low. Okay. Insert a scatter plot here. Again, you see with this data we are having the same issue, that is the axis issue. So I do the same thing, I select this, right click, format axis, and I'm again move it. Since we know we've already tested this, let's do it to 1100 straight away. Okay. Now it's very easily representative ki what is happening. So the orange ones, since it's only two values, so it's easy. So orange ones are the lows. If you see, it's generally lower than the high, lower here, and the high say at the top. What other way of scatter plot to get a better this thing could also be to insert. Sorry, I could insert another type of a scatter plot, that is with lines. It shows you a trend basically. See the same thing. So it just joined the dots wherever they were to show me how the high has moved, how the low has moved. So it gives a better representation ki is data point ke baad ye wala data point aata hai. So either or, that's how you use. So it's very representative na ki the difference between high and low was very large here, whereas it was very low on 16th April and it was very high on 21st April, and overall the markets moved really up from 20th to 22nd April, and again it moved up on 24th April. So it's extremely helpful and representative. Okay. Now next we move on to histogram. So what does histogram do is frequency distribution. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the marks. I can just start with here, insert a histogram. Okay. Now if you see, these bins appear too large, like there are only 3 bins, that's what Excel does, it just takes in 3 bins. Now what we can do for that is that we can change these bins. Just a second. Asad asks, can we prepare charts for pivots? Yes, definitely. Charts with pivots is very, very important, and we'll be doing it in the advanced Excel classes. So here if you see, marks have been plotted here. Let's edit this down because we don't want such big bins, we want smaller bins which are more representative. Format data series. Okay. So here if you see, the bins have been given as auto, like whatever they want, but we can change it anyway. I want to change the bin width. Maybe I want, see now it's 16, maybe I want it 10. See, automatically it moves on to 5 different this thing. Supposing I want 5 as bin widths. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bins now. So it's more representative ki 42 to 47 ke beech mein kiska hai, 47 to 52. Now what happens is that sometimes you might want ki 80 or above, you want to categorize that as 1. Kyunki maybe there'll be one person getting 83 and two people getting, one person getting 85, one person getting 89 or 95, whatever. So you want to categorize that. This is just for marks. If you have bigger amount of data, like I was talking about a normal distribution, so greater than 3 or less than 3, whatever we want to do. In that case, what we'll do, there's an overflow bin and an underflow bin. Overflow bin is towards the end and underflow bin is towards the start. Just a minute. Just give Okay. So now if you see, when so overflow bin, I might want to select this, and right now it's given as 98. I can change it to supposing 80. As soon as I change it to 80, if you see here, you see this graph. It's greater than 80 now. See, it shows greater than 80, so all values greater than 80 will come under this bin. So it is better representative. Similarly, if we select an underflow bin, and instead of 26, supposing we do it as 45. See, the number of bins have also changed, and it is, so supposing I wanted a 45 to 50, 50 to 55 bin. So now this can be formed just by changing the overflow bins. Can you see this? So this is very useful, the overflow, underflow bin. After that, apart from bin width, we can also select the number of bins. Supposing instead of, so right now there are 9 bins, we can also select 8 bins, but this is not representative, so we have to select and see how many bins do we want. Supposing 6 bins, right? And it's still showing lesser than 45 and greater than 80, all in this, all in the chart. But now I want only 6 bins. It is up to me how many bins do I want. I can always change that. Number of bins, bin width, auto, or by category, you can change the category if you have. If you want to switch the category, that is also possible. So this is the histogram. Similarly with 6 bins, that's what we did out here. Now after that, now this is the last part that we are coming to, that is pie charts. So generally pie charts are not used much if you see in when you go and work, because it takes up a lot of space and it shows very little data if you see. But generally it's only used when we are showing something as a part of the whole. Supposing 100, supposing I've got 500 marks, and then I want to show that 80 is for this subject, 100 is for this subject, or something like that, or a representation by revenue. If I want to divide my total revenue, or I want to divide my total risk or return, anything. So, but it has to be a part of a whole, right? And it is generally used for categorical data. If we have different categories, like here, I'm just using this data of the internet. If something like this is there, so it shows that. So let's start with division of revenue according to region. Since this is a small amount of data, this is just, so we are going to select country, revenue, insert a pie chart. So this pie chart is what we use, is a 3D pie, donut pie. We don't have it in all of this, and this is the most useful out there. So if you see here, it's very easy to understand that. See, this is small, so I'll just enlarge it. How do we format this? Supposing I feel that the data written here is too small, I go to home, I've selected this box, and I can always increase the size of the writing. I can change my font from here. I can change the color of the box. Supposing I want the color of the box to be this, if I don't want it right now, or I want to change the color of the text. I want to make it bold, italics, basically whatever editing you can do generally, you can all do it inside the graph also. It is completely easy, you just have to select the box. You can also do it for a single, this thing. Supposing if I want Greater China to be written in grey itself, I can just select Greater China and change the color of that particular text only. So it won't be an issue at all. Okay, it's very easy to format the data here. Similarly, revenue is given. Now, supposing for this revenue, I want that, instead of just writing it here, I want it to represent a percentage also here. When I'm going on it, it definitely shows, but I want it to show. So what am I going to do is, like I showed you the plus sign that exists out here, or go to chart design in case of a Mac like mine. Add data labels, see here. So these are the options where you can put the data. Here right now it's selected as none, so nothing is shown. I can select it to be in the middle of the pie, or inside n, outside n, best fit. Let's do the best fit. Okay, it shows just the value. I can always change it to percentage, more data label options, and I can select percentage. See here it shows value, I can unselect that and select a percentage. So it shows me what percentage of data. I don't have to actually calculated separately. It's very clear and representative out here itself. Okay, and best I can again change it here, outside or inside end or center. It depends on the size, the size of the value that you have, right? I can also add in category value. So it shows America 46%, Europe 23%. So it's completely up to us. I can also select a second set of data and show, apart from percentage, I can do value plus percentage. So it shows America $29.3, that is in million revenues, comma 46%. So it's telling you both. Okay. Let us keep it at that. Now let's do a division of revenue by product. So what you do here, you see it's giving you a representation of data for 2018 and 2019. And if you want a pie chart for this specifically, generally pie chart is not advisable in such kind of data. But what if we still want to do a pie chart? Is I insert a pie chart here. If you see what it does, let's do this first. What this does is it accumulates, it aggregates the total value, it adds both the values together. Now let's do format data point. Sorry, just a minute. Format data series. Data labels, more data label options, right? Data. I don't know what's happening. Why is this opening this part of it? Just a minute. Sorry, just a minute. Format data labels, right? A percentage, category name. It's showing both of them together. So what it does out here is it doesn't, it does not add data, I'm so sorry. It just shows the 2018 quarter values. If you see here, I'm so sorry, I just mistook it for something else, sorry. Here it's the iPhone, iPad, it's just doing the 2008 Q4, 18. It does not take in the 2019 value. We have to do that separately. It does not aggregate. So in case you want an aggregate form, you have to form a separate column for that and then do a pie chart. They are not going to do it for you. So it does not make sense to aggregate two different quarters, but if you want to aggregate something like a year or something, then it will be fine. Like I said, it takes up a lot of space and it shows very little data, very little data. Okay. Next, if you do vertical chart for revenue by region. Vertical chart is basically a bar chart which is vertical of revenue by region. This insert a bar chart and insert a vertical bar chart basically. Is that okay? Now what I can do is here I can do a series overlap that it goes on top of each other in case it had the same kind of data. Let's go back to 0 here. Here gap width we can increase this, see, supposing if I increase it here. So the width between these two are increasing or reducing according to the way I want it to. This looks like an histogram, so it can be very misleading, so let's not do this, let's keep it at 130 itself. Okay, bar chart similarly, if I want to put in I can always add the axis titles if I want, supposing primary, horizontal, I want to add revenue. revenue, and I've showed you how to edit the revenue. If I want to change the color, I can just select this, and as chart design opens, I can do change color to some other color series, whatever I want to. However, supposing once I've selected data, now I want to change the data. Like for this one, this shows 2000 Q4. So here, if you see, right click, even if you have in your windows, you'll have a plus sign. Here is you right click and you can select data, So here it shows where and what you want to do. You can straightaway, so in some cases I type it downstairs. Instead of typing, you can always select it here, what label you want it to be, what the name should be here, what the actual values are. You can definitely change the values here, or you can change the entire chart data from here. Okay. Further details we'll be discussing in class later. And then let's do a last one, that is a stacked line chart for revenues. So let's select this, insert a line chart, but a stacked line chart. Here, if you see, this is a stacked line chart. You can also do something, this is an area chart, but let's do this. So what this is showing, see, this is showing so iPhone, if you see here, it was 36.80 and 33.40. So this is showing 36.80 and this is showing 33.40 when you're seeing it there. But if you see, this appears कि ये इतना ऊपर है, ये इतना नीचे है. But it's just tagged. So what it does is, after it puts in 36.80, it adds 33.4 and then it puts on top of this. So what happens, this is very useful if we are doing supposing we are doing iPhone, not iPhone revenue, maybe 2018 ka different product revenues, right? If this chart was 2018 and this chart was here, right, was in the row, iPhone, iPad. So we could have tagged and shown ki total revenue is coming from where. So it would have been very useful. Let me show you that as well. Let me form that table. Okay, now let's do a line chart. Insert a stacked line chart. Okay, no problem. It's again showing like this. So what we can do is definitely change the axis of both the things of the data with we can change the axis from the horizontal axis to the vertical axis, or the vertical axis to the horizontal axis, and we'll be doing that in the next classes whenever we do our classes. So these are the charts that you'll be doing. There's many more charts that we can do, and definitely with pivot tables and so many more. You can change the colors, names, a lot of things are there to work around with charts. That's all for today. If you have any questions, please send a message. I can unmute you, or you can send in your message privately. If you have any questions, please do ask any questions, whichever questions you have. Does anyone have any more questions? No. further details about the classes will be sent to you on mail. And do you all already have the syllabus, or do I share it with you on email? And don't worry at all about the video classes. All my classes will be recorded and they can be accessed. Definitely, Yami, I will share, I will ask people here to share. I'll definitely be sharing them. Anyone else? Anything, any other questions? Video classes will be available. We'll have doubt classes also. That is not an issue at all. I'll try to provide more examples if you want, apart from what we're doing in the course and the assessments. If it's needed, definitely. Approximate duration of the course, see, it completely depends on the number of classes that we'll be taking. About, if you see a total of, it depends from each of the different courses. So for the first for the basic Excel, so I'll be having a chapter-wise different chapter-wise classes. So probably, since, let's open this and see. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it has 8 different topics. So probably it will be an hour's class. So once a week or twice a week, it depends. Or I'll be recording the videos as well, so it won't be an issue. But it's always advisable to attend the classes as and when, because I'm having the assessment simultaneously. So I don't want to, like, it shouldn't be such a situation that, you know, you give the assessment but someone else has already given the assessment, you have the questions, and approximate duration, a month maximum. For advanced Excel, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, same 8 topics. Advanced Excel will take a little more time because dashboard creation takes a lot of time. It will take at least 2, 3 classes to form a particular dashboard from scratch from the beginning. So a month and a half or so. Anything else, anyone? Okay, then that'll be all for today's class, and hope to see you all once the classes begin. Okay, thank you. No one else? Thank you, bye. Thank you. Okay, I'm ending the class now.